Something inside you has already shifted. You might not have the exact words for it yet, but you felt it. That quiet moment where everything seemed the same on the outside, yet something deep within you felt different, almost like your life changed frequency overnight. And suddenly, the version of your life you've been living doesn't quite fit you anymore. Have you noticed that? The things that once triggered you don't hit the same way now. The people, the situations that once had a tight grip on your energy, they feel distant, not because you forced them away, not because you tried to escape, but because something in you has already moved forward. Let me ask you something. Have you woken up recently with a strange feeling underneath everything? Not exactly peace, not exactly certainty, but something close to both. A quiet, steady knowing that the ground beneath your life has changed. Because you're not imagining this, and what you're feeling right now is not hope. It's not wishful thinking. It's not one of those temporary emotional highs that fades in a few days. No, this feeling is deeper than that, older than that, more real than anything you felt before. What you're experiencing is the ending of an old version of your reality, and at the exact same time, the beginning of a new one. Now here's where most people misunderstand this process. Because when we imagine change, we expect something dramatic, a breakthrough moment, a sudden transformation, a lightning bolt that flips everything overnight. But that's not how real shifts happen. Real shifts are quiet. They move slowly, almost invisibly, through ordinary days that feel slightly off, like walking into a room and sensing that something has changed, but you can't quite point to what. Let me share something personal here. There was a time when I used to overthink everything. Every conversation, every mistake, every what if. I would replay things in my mind for hours. But one day, without any big event, I noticed something strange. The same thoughts came, but they didn't stay. The same situations happened, but they didn't shake me. It was subtle, almost unnoticeable at first. But that's when I realized the old version of me was quietly fading. And the same thing is happening to you. You may have noticed memories that once hurt deeply now feel neutral. Situations that once drained you barely touch you. The version of you that needed approval, validation, constant reassurance is getting quieter. Not because you forced it to stop, but because you no longer need it the same way. And at the same time, there's something new emerging. A restlessness, a pull, a quiet curiosity toward a life you haven't fully stepped into yet. Ideas that keep coming back to you. Visions of a different version of your life that show up in the early morning before logic has a chance to shut them down. Listen carefully, that feeling is not anxiety. It's not dissatisfaction. It's your next reality, introducing itself. Here's the truth most people never realize. Life doesn't remove something without replacing it. What is leaving your life right now is being removed with precision. And at the exact same time, something new is being written in its place. You are standing at the intersection of both, the ending and the beginning. But let's get very clear about something. You are not losing your life. You are losing the version of your life that was built on the wrong foundation. The relationships held together by fear instead of genuine connection. The path you stayed on because it felt safe, not because it felt right. The version of yourself you performed just to be accepted by people who never truly saw you. That identity was never meant to last forever. And when it starts to dissolve, it doesn't happen all at once. It fades, quietly, like the tide pulling back from the shore. And when it does, it reveals something powerful, the real shape of who you are, without the performance, without the survival mode, without the mask. Now let's talk about the part people don't say out loud. Yes, this process comes with grief. You may have felt it. For the people who drifted away, for the plans that didn't work out, for the version of the future you once believed in. That grief was real, but here's what it gave you in return. Clarity, the most honest, unobstructed version of yourself you've ever experienced. And that's exactly why this moment matters. Because life can only deliver what's truly meant for you when you're fully available to receive it. Not the old version of you, this version, right now. There are signs, clear, undeniable signs, that this shift within you is real, not imagined, not temporary, not something that will fade in a few days like everything else once did. These are different, and the more honest you are with yourself, the more of them you'll recognize. So take a moment, slow down, and really check in with yourself as you hear this. How many of these feel like they're already happening inside you? The first sign is a quiet release. You feel less attached to outcomes that once felt urgent, almost life-defining. Things you used to chase, stress over, lose sleep thinking about, don't carry the same weight anymore. You still care. You haven't become indifferent. You haven't given up. But that sharp edge of desperation, that feeling of, I need this to happen or everything falls apart, it's gone. And maybe at first, that scared you because you wondered, why don't I feel the same intensity anymore? But what you didn't realize is this: that intensity was never strength. It was pressure. And now, you're finally free from it. The second sign is a shift in attraction. You're drawn toward things you never paid attention to before. New ideas that make you pause. New conversations that feel deeper. New people who feel different. Not louder, not more impressive, just more real. And at the same time, things that used to entertain you feel empty now. You scroll and nothing sticks. You listen and it doesn't land the same way. It's not boredom, it's evolution. You're no longer aligned with what once distracted you because you're being pulled toward what will expand you. And even if you can't explain it, there's a quiet voice inside saying, this is where you belong next. The third sign is something subtle but powerful. A quiet confidence beginning to take root inside you. Not the kind that needs validation, not the kind that needs to prove anything. This is different. This is the kind of confidence that doesn't speak loudly because it doesn't have to. It's steady, calm, grounded. It shows up in small moments, in the way you respond instead of react, in the way you walk away from things that don't feel right without over-explaining, in the way you trust your own decisions, even when no one else understands them. And maybe you haven't fully noticed it yet, but it's there, growing, strengthening, becoming part of who you are. And then there's the fourth sign, the rarest one, the one that changes everything. Peace. Not perfect peace, not the kind where everything in your life is suddenly resolved, but a deeper, quieter peace that exists despite the unanswered questions, despite the unfinished chapters, despite the uncertainty. It doesn't come from external proof. It comes from within. It's that moment when you sit alone and instead of overthinking everything, you just feel okay. Not because you have all the answers, but because something inside you knows you don't need them right now. That what's meant for you is already moving toward you. That what's unfolding is unfolding correctly. And that feeling, that unexplainable calm, is your confirmation. So now the real question becomes, if all of this is true, then what is replacing everything that left? What is being created in the space that was cleared? Something aligned, something intentional, something real in a way your past never fully was. In the space where the wrong connections once existed, something genuine is being written. Not something you have to chase, not something you have to prove yourself for, but something that recognizes you as you are. In the space where you once felt lost in your work, confused, disconnected, unsure if you were on the right path, something meaningful is beginning to take shape. Something that feels like yours, not borrowed, not forced, not chosen out of fear, but chosen from truth. And in the space where scarcity once lived, that constant feeling of being behind, of never having enough, of always trying to catch up, something new is forming. Alignment, not luck, not coincidence. Alignment, the moment where who you truly are meets what the world actually needs. And for the first time, you're not trying to fit yourself into something that doesn't match you. You're meeting life as yourself, and it's responding differently. And then, in the space where anxiety once lived, that restless, heavy, exhausting energy, a deeper feeling is arriving. A grounded knowing, not loud, not dramatic, but steady, unshakable. A knowing that says, I am exactly where I need to be, even if I don't see the full picture yet. And that changes everything. So before you move on from this moment, pause. Not for long, not forever, just long enough to actually feel this. Because most people won't. Most people will hear something like this, nod quietly, and then go right back to distraction. But you're not here by accident, so don't rush this part, just sit with it for a few seconds. No phone, no overthinking, no trying to analyze every word. Just feel. Feel what's happening beneath the surface. That subtle shift in your chest, that quiet stillness in your mind, that sense that something is different now. Because this isn't just another message you heard and scrolled past. This isn't just content. This is recognition. This is a moment where something inside you finally lines up with something outside you. And for a second, everything makes a little more sense. This is you, seeing yourself clearly, not the version shaped by fear, not the version built to survive, but the real version, the one that's been there all along, waiting for you to notice it. And maybe this is the first time in a long time you've actually felt that. So if something inside you is whispering, "This feels true," don't ignore that. Don't explain it away. Don't let logic rush in and dilute it. Because that quiet voice, that's not doubt. That's recognition. That's alignment. That's the part of you that already knows what your mind is still trying to catch up to. And that is your confirmation. You don't need a sign from the outside. You don't need everything to make perfect sense yet, because the shift you've been waiting for has already happened. Not later, not next month, not when everything is finally figured out. Now, in this moment, quietly, completely, irreversibly. And if you want to anchor it, if you want to make this moment real in a way your mind can hold on to, then say this to yourself. Not casually, not like a routine affirmation you've said 100 times before, but slowly, intentionally, like you actually mean it. The shift is complete. I step into my new reality now. Say it again, but feel it this time. Let the words land deeper. Let them move through you, instead of just passing by. Because this isn't about pretending. It's not about convincing yourself of something that isn't real. It's about recognizing something that already is. And here's what matters most. The life that's moving toward you right now is not waiting. It's not paused until you fix yourself. It's not delayed until you become perfect. It's not holding back until you feel 100% ready. That moment, it doesn't exist. Life is meeting you, exactly where you are, right now. Not the polished version, not the fully healed version. You, as you are in this moment, with everything you've been through, every setback, every lesson, every version of yourself you had to outgrow to get here. Nothing was wasted. Not the confusion, not the waiting, not the pain you didn't understand at the time. All of it shaped you into someone who can now hold what's coming next. And maybe you can't see it yet. Maybe it hasn't fully taken form. Maybe it still feels like something just beyond your reach. But that doesn't mean it's far away. In fact, it's closer than you think. Closer than it has ever been before. Closer than all those times you hoped. And it didn't happen. This time is different. Because you are different. And this time, it's not going to pass you by. Not because of luck, not because of chance, but because you are finally in a place where you won't miss it, where you won't chase what isn't yours, where you won't settle for what doesn't align, where you'll recognize it the moment it arrives. So stay here for one more second. Breathe it in. This feeling, this clarity, this quiet certainty. Let it settle. Let it root itself inside you. Because this is the beginning. And you're not standing on the edge of it anymore. You've already stepped in.